Sparshs and you are on Aakash BYJU'S NEET YouTube and Zoom platform. आज हमारे पास एक बेहतरीन गेस्ट हैं और इनके लिए कोई गेस्ट की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Our guest is Sparsh Chaudhary, who attained 53 rank, yes, 53rd rank in 2022 NEET examination, and at present he is studying in AIMS Delhi. अगर यहाँ पर हमारे पास लाइव ऑडियंस होते तो I would have said a huge applaud for the feat that he has achieved, but here आप अपने कमरे में बैठ के अपने घर पर बैठ के अपलॉड कर सकते हैं. So Sparsh, welcome to our session. How do you feel to be on Aakash BYJU'S NEET YouTube and Zoom platform? कैसा लग रहा है? Hello Sparsh, some technical problem?
No sir, everything's fine.
Yeah. So, कैसा लग रहा है?
I'm feeling good.
Great. तो मुझे भी बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है भाई. इतने सालों के एक्सपीरियंस में एम्स के स्टूडेंट से लाइव इंटरेक्ट करने के मौके जरा कम ही मिलते हैं. तो स्पर्श, देखो, अब मैं यहाँ पर एक स्टूडेंट की तरीके से आपसे सवाल पूछूंगा कि यहाँ पे जितने भी स्टूडेंट इस सेमिनार को देख रहे हैं, जो ये स्टूडेंट पूछना चाहते हैं आपसे, आई एम गोइंग टू आस्क द क्वेश्चन एज द स्टूडेंट. ठीक है. नाउ जो मैं आपसे, ऐसे यहाँ पे काफी सारे सवाल आ रहे हैं, लेकिन एक सबसे पहला सवाल, बहुत सिंपल सा सवाल. आपने डॉक्टर बनने की कब और क्यों सोचा?
So as far as I remember, it was back in class 9. जब फिर मैंने I had to take a decision for my career. Now since both of my parents were doctors, तो फिर मेरे लिए वो वही लाइन मैंने बचपन से देखते हुए मैं आया. So it was kind of motivating seeing them working all day, like treating patients and also फिर इस वजह से I was inclined towards medicine. And it was back in class 9 when I made a decision to finally enter into medicine profession. And back then I joined Aakash Digital.
Okay, so your motivational factor were your parents, that you saw your parents, you saw them working as a doctor, and then you thought that yes, you have to be a doctor.
Yes.
So Sparsh, basically अगर हम बात करें तो बिल्कुल as a student, when did you actually start preparing for NEET examination? Did you start in 9th class? Did you start in 10th, 11th? When did you actually started preparing for NEET? देखो, हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि आप 9th क्लास के अंदर 9th की पढ़ाई कर रहे थे, 10th क्लास में 10th की पढ़ाई कर रहे थे. जब आपने सोच लिया था 9th क्लास में कि आपने NEET की पढ़ाई करनी है, तो what was your plan of action?
मैंने 9th क्लास से जैसे सोच लिया था कि I had to appear for NEET. So it was back then I joined Aakash Digital, and from there only I started preparing for NEET. But it was actually in class 11 that I strictly started preparing for NEET. Before that, it was basically other exams like NTSC, our board syllabus and all. But that provided me a base, like to start the basis of class 11.
Okay. Sparsh, what were your basic books? Which book did you emphasize on? किस book के ऊपर आपने emphasize किया था? माना आपके पास आकाश डिजिटल का subscription था and you were mainly relying on Aakash Digital, but in addition to that, which books were you relying on?
So first and foremost, the most important book for NEET preparation is NCERT. Because these days, the entire paper comes directly from NCERT textbook, line by line. So अगर मतलब हमारा सबसे main course preparation का तो NCERT ही होना चाहिए. Apart from NCERT, if you need to practice other books, so I used to refer S.P. Verma for physics questions. And for chemistry, sometimes I used to go for physical chemistry questions from outside. Otherwise, so I used to follow Aakash modules and NCERT.
Okay. Sparsh, were you having some specific schedule per day?
So one thing was that the class schedule I used to follow regularly. Like classes, हमारी आकाश डिजिटल की classes 4 to 7 होती थी. So I used to attend those regularly from 4 to 7. After attending classes, मैं क्या करता था कि I used to make notes during the classes. And after the classes, I used to revise those notes. क्योंकि अगर हमने कोई चीज पढ़ ली, अगर हम उसे रिवाइज नहीं करते हैं, तो दैट जनरली फेड्स अवे फ्रॉम मेमोरी. So we have to keep it revising from time to. So इसलिए what I used to do is after 4 to 7 class कर लिए, I used to take a short break. After that, I used to like revise my notes and then read the same topics from textbook. And Sundays or weekends, whenever we had classes off, and I used to like revise whatever was taught during the entire week.
ग्रेट. स्पर्श, एक छोटी छोटी बातें होती हैं, स्टूडेंट्स कई बार बोलते हैं हाउ टू मैनेज टाइम, हाउ टू डू इट. मैं इसको थोड़ा सा अलग तरीके से पूछूंगा. आई वुड से व्हाट वाज द ड्यूरेशन इन अ डे व्हेन यू वर नॉट स्टडिंग. मतलब कि देखो, नॉट स्टडिंग का मतलब क्या है? स्लीपिंग, ईटिंग, एंजॉइंग, एंड the time, the entire time in the day when you were not studying. तो not studying वाला कितना टाइम हुआ करता था per day?
I used to sleep from like I sleep around 4 a.m. and wake up at around 12. So it was like those 8 hours of sleep which I used to have. Rest 1 2 hours gap I used to take for playing video games because that was kind of a break for me. Apart from that, I used to dedicate the rest of the time for preparing for me. With
Okay.
short breaks in between definitely.
ठीक है. देखो स्पर्श, यहाँ पर ना स्टूडेंट्स बार बार ये पूछते हैं कि हाउ टू मैनेज टाइम. ठीक है, टाइम मैनेज करते थे या आप अपना शेड्यूल रखते थे? देखो उसमें क्या है, जैसे कि आपने कहा कि यू यूज टू स्लीप फॉर 8 आवर्स. एक्सीलेंट. 8 आवर्स आप सोते थे पूरा कॉन्टिन्यूअस, दैट वाज इट? ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
एंड देन यू यूज टू हैव some food breaks.
Yes, sir.
Can we consider that in the entire day you were using around 2 hours for your daily activities like food, नहाना,
Yes, sir.
जो भी एक्सरसाइज वगैरह करना, 2 hours मे बी?
हाँ सर, सब. Yes, sir. सब मिला के 2 घंटा.
ठीक है. 2 घंटे आपके एंजॉयमेंट के होते थे. यू यूज टू प्ले वीडियो गेम्स. अब कोई और खेल भी सकता है, बाहर एक्टिविटीज में जा सकता है, आप उसके अंदर
हाँ,
वीडियो गेम
that
खेल.
depends on the person.
ठीक है. तो इट इज 8 + 2 10 + 2 12. 12 hours per day were the time that you were not studying. Okay, we can say that. So it was
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
12 hours you were studying. So do you think कि आप जो दिन में 12 घंटे पढ़ते थे, quite obviously that was enough to get you a seat in AIMS, isn't it? क्या आपको लगता है कि
Yes, sir,
आप
definitely.
जितना पढ़ते थे उससे ज्यादा पढ़ सकते थे?
I could have like did 1 or 2 more hours in my schedule, but then my efficiency would have declined. So it's like important to have small breaks in between. Like quantity of hours doesn't matter over quality. Whatever time you are studying, you should be focused, like doing your studies properly without any distractions. Otherwise, it's no use sitting on the table for 16 hours and not being productive.
स्पर्श, एक बड़ा awkward सा सवाल है. बहुत सारे लोग कहते हैं हम 18 घंटे पढ़ते थे. Do you think 18 hours per day studying is actually feasible?
तो आई थिंक मैंने एम्स में जितने भी लोगों से बात की है, 18 घंटे पढ़ने वाला तो कोई नहीं है.
तो आप ये कहना चाहते हो कि 18 घंटे पर डे पढ़ना एक मिथ है, फैक्ट नहीं है?
Yes, sir. That's just a myth. मतलब mostly people used to study 10 hours, 12 hours, somebody 8 hours. मतलब 18 घंटे, it's like sleeping for 6 hours and studying for 8 hours. That's not quite feasible. Like practically not possible.
ओके. अच्छा स्पर्श, क्लास के ड्यूरेशन में व्हेन एवर द पीपल आर स्टडीइंग इन द क्लास, उसमें नोट्स बनाना कितना जरूरी है?
Notes class during class times, I used to always make notes whatever was taught in the class. अब एक पैटर्न होती है, काइंड ऑफ कई सारे टॉपिक स्लाइड से पढ़ाए जाते हैं. So in that case, you aren't able to make it. But still, you should always try to have a class notes with you. क्योंकि इससे रिवीजन बहुत इजी हो जाता है. मेरा मेन रिवीजन सोर्स was revision class notes. Like whenever before a test or even before a payment for me, I always used to revise my class notes. Because when I was reading my class notes and I could recall the entire lecture, whatever was taught during the class. And that's like seems very helpful to me.
ग्रेट. अच्छा, स्पर्श एक बात और बताओ. एनसीईआरटी की बुक आपने कहा कि सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. अच्छा,
Yes,
ये बताइए
definitely.
कि एनसीईआरटी के जो थ्योरेटिकल क्वेश्चंस हैं, जो उसके सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस हैं, डिड यू डू देम?
Yes, sir. I did each and everything from NCERT, be it concept page given before each unit in bio, or the subjective questions, or the values, even random values that they given. Like which had very much probability to be actually paper, but I did everything from NCERT. Because these days the entire paper is substituted from NCERT. So leaving anything behind from NCERT would be a bit.
ओके, तो उसमें एनसीईआरटी के क्वेश्चंस जब आप करते थे, डिड यू यूज टू जस्ट रीड थ्रू दोस क्वेश्चन और यू यूज टू राइट देम? देखो, मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा हूं कि ये सवाल स्टूडेंट मुझसे बहुत बार पूछते हैं कि सर क्या हमें सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस करने चाहिए तो क्या लिख कर करने चाहिए या सिर्फ उनको रीड कर लेना चाहिए? सो व्हाट
Actually, my
एग्जैक्टली इज यू
board was
यू डिड?
ICSE board. So I actually my board was ICSE board. So these questions are more relevant to the CBSE part. So I didn't used to like actually write them. I just used to open a solution in the web and go through them. And model questions were different from the subjective text. Like some questions are out in the text. So I used to like save a screenshot of the question somewhere so that I could write them later.
ओके,
But I didn't used to write them specifically as such.
ओके. सो अच्छा, you have done offline coaching as well and you did the online coaching as well. So what was the role of the digital coaching in your preparation?
Actually, the entire preparation time and did from Aakash digital only. It was only during the last 3 months that I went for offline coaching, for appearing for mock, specifically intensive testing. That I appeared in the Aakash offline center. Classes and entire preparation was from Aakash digital. So mainly it was like my entire preparation was based from Aakash digital, right from the classes and all the tests during the 4 years span of time.
ठीक है. स्पर्श, was it नहीं, हमें तो पता है कि it was your first attempt in which you cleared the NEET examination and you got the admission in AIMS.
Yes, sir, right.
Now, were you a regular school student or were you a kind of a dummy student जिसे बोलते हैं?
I was a regular student, but during my time of class 11 and 12, we actually had COVID ongoing at time, COVID pandemic. So it was kind of dummy school only. The classes were conducted online, and those classes we could skip easily because we didn't have attendance issues. So I didn't attend school classes as such during my 11th and 12th class.
ओके, सो आपको डमी एडमिशन का बेनिफिट रेगुलर स्कूल के साथ ही मिल गया बिकॉज इट वाज अ कंपल्शन.
Yes, so thanks to COVID. Yes, sir.
ग्रेट. तो अच्छा, फिर भी लेकिन अगर डमी एडमिशन ना लेकर अगर आप स्कूल की ऑनलाइन क्लासेस अटेंड करते थे, तो आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर आज के स्टूडेंट जैसे जो स्कूल जाते हैं, क्या स्कूल जाते जाते स्टूडेंट अपने एम्स के लिए नीट की तैयारी कर सकते हैं?
Yes, sir, definitely. It would be a bit hectic for them to be school classes, attending school regularly for 6 hours.
हेलो.
Manage both alongside. Hello.
ओके
Are
ओके
you
ओके.
getting my voice?
या आई एम एबल टू.
Yeah, so I was saying it would get a bit hectic.
हेलो.
Hello.
हाँ जी.
Hello. So can you get my voice now?
या आई एम गेटिंग इट.
Yes, so I was saying it would be a bit hectic for those students managing both alongside, but it could very well be done. both together.
Okay. So, Sparsh, a student who is starting in 11th class, he has completed his 10th class nicely and he has started with 11th class. Do you think a student starting from 11th class beginning is capable of getting admission in AIMS?
Yes, so actually, and I started my preparation right from the beginning of class 11th only. Before that, I never focused on NEET. It was typically NCERT and KVP, other exams, peripheral exams, Olympiads, etc. So basically, even if you start your preparation from right from the very beginning of class 11, you have entire duration of 2 years, which is more than sufficient to cover the entire NEET syllabus and get a good rank, of course, in NEET.
Great. So, Divyanshu, so Sparsh, here what we find is, अच्छा एक बात बताओ कि एम्स के अंदर एडमिशन लेने के बाद एडमिशन एम्स के अंदर आपका डेली शेड्यूल क्या होता है?
So in AIMS, it's like we have class from 9 to 5. So from right from the very beginning of we have to wake up, like get ready, go to classes. So 9 से 5 classes होती हैं. After that, I take out 2 hours for 1 or 2 hours for like playing gym, playing some outdoor things. After that, you have to get back, revise whatever important classes. That's how the day passes. You don't even realize when the day passes. And like on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, we get like Saturday is half day and Sunday is free. So those 2 days you can go outside, go for outings like, with your friends. I mean, that's how college life is for me.
स्पर्श कई स्टूडेंट हमें ये कहते हैं कि हमारी 11th खराब हो गई, 11th खराब होने के बाद हम 12th में पूरी मेहनत करेंगे। पहला सवाल तो ये है कि आपको ऐसा लगता है क्या आपके जो सर्कल है, इज देयर एनी पर्सन हु हैज
Mhm.
एक्चुअली not been able to complete the 11th and started in 12th and was able to get AIMS in the first attempt?
Yes, sir. There are people like that who, like in class 11, actually weren't aware about needs and like how to prepare and all. But later in 12th, they got enrolled in somewhere or like started preparing seriously for needs, and they still got selection in it. So it's like you start late, you have definitely have to work there, but still, it is definitely possible. So
Okay.
I would recommend to start as early as possible. I think the best time to start would be right from the beginning of class time without wasting any time.
And uh, there are certain students who say that how to clear backlog. My simple question would be, the people who actually get admission in AIMS, do they have backlog?
Your preparation, you're doing it every day, following with the like keeping up with the class schedule and the test schedule, you won't have backlog. So definitely, if you don't have backlog, your preparation will go on smoothly. You have backlog, and you should cover it like as fast as possible. Like try to not keep any gap during your entire preparation time. Because once you start having backlog, that builds up from time, like builds up, and then it would get, like put a pressure on you to complete it within the stipulated time.
So backlog would actually hamper your preparation for getting admission in AIMS.
Yes, sir,
So
definitely.
as far as I can understand, आपका कहना ये है कि the sincerity, consistency, and complete dedication to your cause is going to get you through the AIMS examination.
Yes, sir. You have to be consistent with your preparation. It's not like your board exam where you can study 1 week before the exam and get good marks. This is like an all India competitive exam where 20 lakh, more than 20 lakh aspirants are appearing. So definitely you need to keep up your preparation.
Okay. Now, apart from academics, what are you all involved in AIMS? Apart from academics, क्या क्या करते हो आप AIMS में?
Mhm. In it with ability examples of these extracurriculars, there's a lot of scope in aims where you can develop your extracurricular skills apart from studies. We, we have entrepreneurship development cells, etc., where we can have where we get opportunities to develop peripherally, not just about academics. So I get involved in sports activities like swimming, badminton, etc. I used to go to Gymkhana every day and like even take part during it. But whenever there's some cultural event like Shivratri, Durga Puja, etc., there is always a fest conducted in AIM.
स्पर्श यहाँ पर ना कुछ स्टूडेंट ये पूछते हैं हाउ टू स्टे मोटिवेटेड। देखो जैसे कि आपने बताया कि यू आर स्टडिंग फॉर 12 आवर्स अ डे। 12 आवर्स अ डे कुछ लोग कहते हैं कम है, कुछ लोग कहते हैं ज्यादा है, लेकिन एक बात क्लियर है कि 12 आवर्स अ डे रेगुलरली पढ़ना इज नॉट अ वेरी नॉर्मल थिंग। तो हाउ वर यू एबल टू स्टडी फॉर दैट 12 आवर्स? व्हाट केप्ट यू मोटिवेटेड?
You have to set your target and then you have to your pace and preparation along with it. Now, if you are attending coaching classes for 4 hours and then you are attending school classes, so somewhere you get 2, 3, 4 hours of self study, and then your day passes like that. Like you have to enjoy what you are doing, and you have to always like stay. The mind always need to remember never lose track of your target. Because once you that check in mind, then you will be able to keep.
And did you attempt the PYQs, previous year questions?
Yes, sir. I did it a lot. Whenever I finished the chapter, I used to do the PYQs of that chapter. And once I was done with the entire syllabus, I did all the 30 years PYQs like twice or thrice. Because one of the best sources for question practice is PYQs. Because many times the PYQs are repeated or the question pattern is almost similar. Like they just change the values and put in the same pattern of questions in the new paper. So definitely you should do PYQs at least twice or thrice before appearing for me.
Okay. Now the students are asking which is the best book for physics. अब केमिस्ट्री के लिए तो मैं खुद उनको एनसीईआरटी बता देता हूं, और जैसे कि आप भी मानोगे बायोलॉजी के लिए भी एनसीईआरटी है। फिजिक्स के लिए अक्सर लोग कहते हैं कि एनसीईआरटी इज नॉट इनफ। सो विच वुड यू सजेस्ट कि फिजिक्स के लिए जरूरी है?
Followed was my classes, class notes, and then I did questions from NCERT. Yeah, definitely questions from NCERT are not sufficient for physics practice. So you should, for question practice, you should go for PYQs or other sources like you can go for books like SP Verma or your coaching modules, whatever coaching you are enrolled in. You can follow those for question practice. It's one of the best sources for question practice, definitely PYQs. If you are done with NEET PYQ, you can go to JEE Mains, JEE Advanced PYQ. You can get a lot of exposure to varieties of questions.
There is the one person who's asking कि पहले क्या पढ़ना चाहिए? Should we study first NCERT or should we study modules for every subject?
You should do both together. First, like you should complete, follow your notes. After that, you should give a reading to NCERT. Once you are very, very thorough with NCERT, then you should go on to modules for higher level questions and applications of whatever you have learned from NCERT. So, like your primary focus should be on completing NCERT because once you are done with that, you're done with the entire syllabus.
Okay. And how much time did you spend every day with your friends while preparing?
Actually, while preparing for NEET was actually COVID time. So I didn't used to go out like I used to go back in class 9 to 10. It was mostly I used to call my friends and like have a chat with them or generally used to text them on Discord or like WhatsApp, whatever. Used to talk. That's how we stay connected.
Great. And during the preparation time, agreed that was a COVID time, so external distractions were rare, but how were you able to cope up with mobile phone, the computer, looking at the movies, and were you able to stick to that 2 hour regimen of your video games? कभी ऐसा मन नहीं करता था कि 2 घंटे से 2.5 घंटे हो जाए, 3 घंटे हो जाए? वीडियो गेम छोड़ना, जहां तक मैं समझता हूं, इट्स क्वाइट डिफिकल्ट कि वीडियो गेम खेलना शुरू करते तो उसको छोड़ना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. How did you manage to stick to your regimen कि नहीं, मुझे 1.5 घंटा, 1 घंटा, 2 घंटे से ज्यादा नहीं करना?
Time once. So I used to play like after the coaching classes 7 to 8, 1 hour it was fixed. The rest whenever I got tired, so for like refreshing my mood, I used to go sit and play video games. So I restrained myself. See, whenever I've completed the target for the day, then only I'll play video games. Otherwise I won't. So whatever my target for the day was, I used to finish. Then send to another activity. Start setting your day target. Start following them strictly. You won't be distracted.
Okay. अब आपको क्या लगता है कि ऑफलाइन कोचिंग, इज इट अ नेसेसिटी फॉर एवरीबॉडी? क्या सिर्फ ऑनलाइन या डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म से पढ़कर, अगर आप मान लीजिए ऑफलाइन कोचिंग में नहीं जा रहे होते, तो पर आपका तो कोविड का जब टाइम था, तो क्या आपका ऑफलाइन कोचिंग भी ऑनलाइन नहीं था?
I wasn't enrolled in any offline coaching. Akash, I only used to visit the offline center during the last 3 months. Apart from that, the entire 4 years I was like studied totally online. So I think it's definitely possible in the era of online learning. Definitely possible to get good ranks in just through online learning. Because now everything is available on YouTube and online platforms, online education platforms. So you can prepare your needs sitting right at your home. And that definitely offers you convenience of the timing. Like I was someone who used to study at night. So studying online, I used to have the comfort of timing. Like it was timings were flexible for me. I could study at any time. Plus the fact that you are studying from your home, that you travel time to the coaching back. So that makes it more convenient for you.
Mm-hmm. Now, one student is asking how to overcome sleep and do more work. बेटा, यहाँ पर इसका तो आंसर शायद मैं ही दे दूंगा कि Sparsh himself
Yes,
has said that he used to sleep 8 hours every day from 4 o'clock in the morning, 12 in the noon. So he used to have 8 hours of sleep every day. Rather than overcoming the sleep, he used sleep as his resting and his motivation and everything. Clear? Would you suggest a person to overcome the sleep? कि भाई हमें 8 घंटे नहीं सोना चाहिए, हमें कम सोना चाहिए?
If you're trying to overcome your sleep and definitely like forcing yourself to put in more hours of study, that won't be as efficient as when you have a complete 8 hours of sleep. Whatever your sleep cycle is. Some people feel full in 7 hours of sleep. Somebody requires only 6 hours. Like never force yourself to sleep less. Sleep as much as like your body requires, and after that, focus on your studies with full efficiency. That's what I would recommend.
Okay. And mock test. Did you attempt the mock tests, and at what time, if you attempted the mock test, at what time did you start attempting it?
Mostly whenever we had online tests in Aakash Digital, we had a window of 24 hours or 48 hours. So mostly I used to do it. I started around 11 p.m. and did it around till 2 a.m. because that was the time when my brain worked the most. I mean, that time I felt the best time for attempting mock tests. So I usually gave my test from 11 to 2 after the class day.
Sparsh, in 12th class, what were the subjects that you studied? Of course, you had biology, physics, and chemistry.
Yes, chemistry.
And apart from those, what were the subjects you had?
So apart from that, I had biotechnology and English, like my fourth and fifth subjects. So biotechnology and English.
Okay. You didn't have mathematics with you?
No, sir. I wasn't a PCMB student, but I did few topics from mathematics which were required for JEE mains paper and all. Because I gave JEE mains paper as well, KVPY paper and such stuff. So I did few topics from mathematics, but as such I didn't have it as a subject.
डिड यू फेस द कैलकुलेशन प्रॉब्लम? जो ये कहते हैं, हर कोई कहता है कि हमसे फिजिकल केमिस्ट्री के या फिजिक्स के न्यूमेरिकल्स नहीं होते, तो क्या आपको कभी ये प्रॉब्लम आई है कि फिजिक्स या केमिस्ट्री के न्यूमेरिकल्स नहीं होते बिकॉज यू डिडंट हैव मैथमेटिक्स?
Actually, I mean, my strongest subject was physics. So as such, I never faced any problems in calculation, differentiation, integration. Yeah, people generally complain about that. But for that, if you want to fix that out, you have to practice questions regularly. That's how you can improve this question. Once you practice a lot of questions from that domain, your that fear, you will generally overcome that fear and be able to perform calculations easily.
अच्छा, एक बात बताओ कि जब हम नोट्स बनाने की बात करते हैं, शुड वी मेक द नोट्स फ्रॉम सर्टेन बुक्स, मे बी एनसीईआरटी, और इज इट नेसेसरी टू मेक, लाइक यू हैव ऑलरेडी आंसर्ड दिस क्वेश्चन बट स्टिल आई एम आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन कि एनसी ये किसी बुक से नोट्स बनाने चाहिए या क्लास के नोट्स ज्यादा अप्रोप्रिएट है?
तो वन थिंग इज कि क्लास में कई बार एक्स्ट्रा भी पढ़ा देते हैं जो कि उतना रेलेवेंट नहीं होता है अकॉर्डिंग टू मी। तो आप व्हाट आई यूज टू डू इसकी मैंने एनसीईआरटी भी साथ में खोल रखी है। जो नीट से ज्यादा रिलेवेंट नहीं है तो दोज नोट्स आई यूज टू स्लैश आउट लेटर। बेसिकली मेरी नोट्स आई यूज टू कीप एनसीईआरटी रेंज विद फ्यू एक्स्ट्रा टॉपिक्स दैट वर आस्क्ड इन पीवाईक्यूज एंड
ओके, तो अब आप, जो हमारे जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स हमें देख रहे हैं या देखने वाले हैं, आप उन लोगों को क्या सजेस्ट करना चाहोगे? क्या आपकी सिंसियर जो है वो सजेशन रहेगा उन लोगों के लिए जो रियली एम्स में एडमिशन लेना चाहते हैं? देयर कुड बी स्टूडेंट हु इज स्टिल इन 9th क्लास, 10th क्लास, 11th क्लास, 12th क्लास, मे बी 12th पास। क्या उन सब के लिए एक कॉमन
ऑल।
स्ट्रैटेजी हो सकती है, या आप ये स्ट्रैटेजी सजेस्ट करोगे कि कोई और स्ट्रैटेजी? व्हाट वुड योर बी सजेशन टू दीज डिफरेंट पीपल?
What one thing which I would like to say is कि you should try to start as early as possible. Competition nowadays is increasing so day, like year by year. Every year, like applicants are increasing by 15%. We saw 16 lakh aspirants in NEET 21, then 18 lakh, then 20 lakh. Just to keep on increasing. Plus, the resources being available to everyone online. The competition is increasing. Now, this year, itself, if I give an example, there are more than 300 students from 700 plus marks. In my year, I got 700 and got an AIR like 53, around 50. But this year, for getting an AIR 50, under 50, you need to score 710. So that's how it is increasing year by year. The cutoffs are going. So for that, you need to maximize your efficiency to get the best college you can. So start as early as possible and stay consistent throughout your preparation time, the entire 2 year duration. Practice, practice, because as we practice, helps you in your stage and get to know where topics you are weak, and then you can work on that and then improve yourself. The thing is like follow your course, read NCERT with time. Like at least if you, it's better to read NCERT tens of times, hundreds of times. It's always better to focus on one book.
So it is better to focus on one book, and that book would be NCERT.
NCERT.
That's what you would suggest. Great. Okay. So what else would you like to say? अब हम यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट से कह रहे हैं, अगर वो कुछ और क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहते हैं तो you can actually ask the question. I believe we have already answered the questions from the students. Anything else you would like to ask? Anybody, anything like to ask the question? दिवाकर सैनी। हाँ स्पर्श, ये मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा, डिड यू हैव एनी बैकअप प्लान? that if somehow you didn't clear the NEET examination, did you have a backup plan for that?
So I never thought otherwise. See what will happen if I don't clear NEET exam. Like if you have that negative thought in you, that's somehow going to affect you negatively. You have always have to have self confidence in yourself that you are going to make it. You don't need to have a backup plan as such, at least during your preparation time. Because once you believe in yourself, you can do it.
Okay, so you want to say that you have to have the full faith in your preparation and you have to work thoroughly for one line and you have to clear it. तो कोई backup plan
Yes, sir. Give your
रखना
yes, sir. Give everything in.
ठीक है. So that's what it was. And really thank you, Sparsh, for taking out your time and being with us and getting your so much you give your insights. I hope कि हमारे जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स आपका ये सेशन देख रहे हैं उन सबको अपने बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस के डाउट्स के आंसर्स मिल जाए गए होंगे, है ना?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks a lot क्योंकि you created the time for this particular session and it was really enlightening for me as a teacher as well to know the psyche of a student who has actually reached the top. All the best for you, for your future
Thank you, sir.
endeavors, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.